everyone. Thank you for coming and for listening to me. Today I just wanted to have a chance to have a sort of a little outlook, if it's possible. What's happened this week? There's a lot of talking about the debate, Harris and Trump. My opinion was not a very good debate. There was missing point. It was missing a lot of the focus about the real economy and what is the boost and how to help the family, about the welfare. There's a lot of talking, but just when it was just a show. Honestly, it was not talking on a program. Don't have a plan. Which kind of plan? How you can really boost the economy? It was just something that you can understand, but not really fully understand. So seems that I was a little bit much more sure than other things. Anyway, some points, good points for the performance of Harris. Nevertheless, she doesn't touch so many things about, as I say, about the economy and about the really needs of the Americans. For the way she was very focused on abortion and was very focused on try to talking over Trump, and about Trump personal things. But it's just like kindergarten shows. Honestly, everybody knows that. Anyway, what about Trump? Trump have some few good points. He clearly wanted to rebuild the states. He clearly wanted to rebuild the economy. He wanted to boost the economy. He wanted to open to new opportunity to entrust the new opportunity of business also in a global area. But he read a lot about the question about China. And I believe that he has sort of planned how to boost the economy for the middle class. That's what I understood. He surely wanted to have a very cut to the expenditure for the national expenditure, about the wasting of the money, honestly. And that is a good point. But as well, he was talking about how to give an opportunity also to think about America again. That's mean a cut of the defense budget. That's, in my opinion, is a good point. Cutting the defense budget means that there's much more money for the Americans. So that means that all Americans can have much more opportunity to develop. That's good. Cut to defense expenditure means that there is less focus on a war. And as I told, it's just not the military corporation that have a maximum of profits on the war, but that means that cutting is much more for the welfare. That's much more for the economy. So in my opinion, is a good point. I didn't see too much to underline the rest of the plan. And that was a missing opportunity for Trump, in my opinion. He was able to build up a good team. He was able to build up with the Gabbard, with the Kennedy, and with the Musk, a good team, and show off the potential that he can offer to these new opportunity of mandate. That means have this person with him, surely people can trust that something different hasn't been put in place. And I believe that. Unfortunately, he was not able to explain how and why he pick up, and he wants Musk for the cutting of the wasting of the money on startup money. So that means, okay, what exactly he's able to do? Which is your plan? And what about Kennedy? Kennedy is great. He wants to make Alpha America. So that means he wants to fight the corporation that poison our body, poison our mind. Perfect. But how? It's good because Kennedy now is going to talk a lot about this plan, but it was a missing opportunity for Trump not talking about it. And give the opportunity to Harris to repeat that he has no plan. That's not true, because he pick up and choose specific people for the possible new mandate if he win, of course. But nevertheless, it's about the American. So talking about Americans is not just a small country. It's not just a state. America has big states and the several countries. And he could point out how he's able to deliver a good service if he's able to be the next president again. But he missed this opportunity. Instead, gave opportunity to Kamala Harris to talk what she liked more. The only thing that I think that I agree with Robert Kennedy is that the debate was run in not very fair way. Well, it was not very fair. The journalist was not fair on the question. They put really not specific question. They didn't chase the answer. They gave it too much favor, and they should be not at all partial. So that they should not have any kind of waving with the two candidates. Instead, it appears that the journalist, the ABC journalist, was waving much more on Harris instead of Trump. Fair enough, it's their choice, but this is what I see on the TV. Is my perception. A missing opportunity. I hope that unfortunately we don't have any other debate. So we have to look in for understand from the different rallies where they are involved, and they are still going on until the end of the campaign. I truly believe that the foreign policy that they talk could enlighten much more of the Americans. On my point of view, my point of view is that Harris clearly wants to carry on wars. She clearly says that she doesn't want to cut any financial aid to carry on a war in Ukraine. She continued to say unconditional support for Israel. In the other side, Trump say that it's not possible and it is not affordable for the United States to continue to fund and give financial aid to continue this war in Ukraine. As well, the aid for Israel should be reviewed. I think it's not very easy for Donald Trump to say that. But in support of what he wants to make great again the American with a new boost of the economy, he has to cut also this financial aid. I don't see how the Trump relation with Israel can go on, but surely, because we know for the previous statements from Trump, surely he does want to carry on more money for Ukraine. And this is good for the American, in my point, because that means that he really thinks to give much more attention and much more financial aid inside the United States. That's good. What else? The point here is Israel. Israel, as we know, for the CIJ, the Court of International Justice, was incriminated. And new nation supported the South Africa request. In this case, we see that there is a sort of denial of the United States about the Israel implication with this incrimination, and they say that they want to accept this resolution from the Court of International Justice. But the question is, okay, so you don't recognize the Court of International Justice. So why you complain when you see that Mongolia didn't respect the arrest of Putin requested by the Court of International Justice? Well, I think that was a way to show to the United States that even the Middle East country, or anyway Asian country, can do the same. I mean, it's not just only United States who can say, I don't want to respect this with the request from the Court of International Justice. I believe that in this point, United States started to understand something that they want to avoid to see. I mean, the elephant in the room, the BRICS. Exactly, because the BRICS is going to be much more relevant as they thought. Not just in sense of the economy, and remember, BRICS actually the economists say that the value of the economy market is around 33%. And with the new annexion, with a new nation that wants to join BRICS, it's much more possible that BRICS start to have a sort of very important role on the economy, around 50% of the global economy. Again, so it's not just the economy. When you see that BRICS has such relevance for the economy, that means they are still relevant also for the international issues. And when we talk about international issues, that means also how they're going to protect themselves to any kind of attack, for the economy attack or wherever. So in this case, we go through geopolitics. We see all the borders. We see all the affection for the countries all around Israel. Israel wants to open up the conflict. It wanted to go over Palestine. They wanted to go over, and they started to attack Lebanon. And they tried to, in a way, they try to open a war in big scale, so make an escalation. So what? I just have to think about how slow is the response by the allied nation of Palestine, and why. First, BRICS are all aligned and supported with Russia, right? As we know, they are supported with Palestine. So definitely, if we have to follow the narrative, they should fight back quickly. But they didn't. They didn't. First, who has much profit to continue the war? BRICS? I don't think. Russia? I don't think so. One of my point of view is Russia could use missiles and can destroy Ukraine in very quick time. But Russia didn't decide to do that. Well, by the economy, if I have to destroy an entire country, how long I can have a profit for this country that I destroyed? I really have some point to say, okay, I got a very good profit destroying the country because I was able to completely rebalance the expenditure that I had in attacking this country. I don't think that. Because destroy means that you have to wait and to wait until this territory started to be profitable again. And there's no ideology in the war. It's just literally a budget plan. They wanted to understand how is it profitable to carry on and have much more, annex much more territory and have a profit of this territory. But there is no profit. There is no point to carry on. So there's no chance to destroy completely. But what's happened if really the United States want to push for an open and continue the war and try to involve all the rest of the nation in a big war, global war? Well, definitely is something that Poland doesn't want, Hungary doesn't want, Czechoslovakia doesn't want, and many other countries, they don't want to be involved in a war. Putin listened to the threat of Zelensky. He tried to explain in a clear way why it's not just Ukraine that receive the Russian response if the Ukrainians start to strike on the heart of Russia. So first, Ukraine has no intelligence basis and technology to carry on this such attack. Therefore, Putin stated, it's clear that the involvement is from United States, UK, French, and all the OTAN nation. So the response from Russia certainly will be striking over these headquarters in UK, in France, and in the rest of Europe, especially. So why? Because they are able to have the intelligence and the technology which they can order and running and controlling the attack over Russia. So basically, the involvement of the European country is such a horrible thing, because the leader of this country, how they can face off their citizens to say, oh, well, we decide to strike on Russia. That means that somehow of our city could be struck back. So I don't think that is clear at this point, but I understand. Listen the statement of this leader from European leader, that they really understood that it's not affordable for them. It's not achievable to continue to support this war in these terms. So they asked to Blinken, please go away, back to your country. We don't want to be involved in this war. And it's correct, because it's too much. And there is no profit. There's not really good opportunity for anyone in Europe. But we see if the European leader starts to have the wisdom to understand that they have to pursue the diplomatic way, pursue the way to start a negotiation for the peace. Because the response from Russia, if they really want to use the intelligence for the Messiah to strike in the heart of Russia, that means that they are started by OTAN. The OTAN and European countries started to violate the international laws. And by the international laws, Russia can be supported for their strike back, because they can exercise the right of self-defense, as seen by the UN Charter. So I believe that all the citizens in Europe with a good sense and a good wisdom, they should start to influence their representative, to pressure, to start to finalize sooner than later the peace, negotiate for the peace in Ukraine, not go over and further in such atrocity, because there is no chance to say at this point, if this happened, that is all to charge and to blame Russia. That's not true, absolutely. Because they can respond using the UN Charter as a policy for self-defense in this case. So the conflict is between Ukraine and Russia. We have to push over to finalize the negotiation of peace. This is my suggestion, of course, and my wishes. Anyway, we started to see some leaders to move up and to start to talk clear with Blinken saying, no way, yeah, we don't want to be involved in this stupidity to start a World War III. And yes, can be a war if they wanted to hurt, not a nuclear war anyway. It's not profitable for anyone. Well, what else we can say? The only things that we can add is the question about how we are able to influence our leader and why we have to understand what's going on now. What's going on is a sort of narrative that are going to terrify and to spread fear everywhere. And that's, of course, start to, as we can see, stress all over the citizens, all of us, because stressing with the fear of a new nuclear threat is something that is quite concrete from the narrative, from the media narrative. Rationally, no, it's not possible. We understand. But still, they started to pressure with this kind of a narrative, continue to say, well, it's going to be a war. It's going to be a war, a world war, a world war. Who really wants a world war? Just only who wants to have a profitable world war. So only the cooperation about the power counts and wherever. All right. So all the cooperation related to the profit of the war. This fear, this threat, create a sort of conflict for people who are really afraid to have no future. And so that's impacted psychologically everyone. But nevertheless, we have also, and we're living, in Europe we're living, but also in America you are living, what? The austerity relating to the continuing budget and financial aid to continue and to pursue this war. And what we receive in back? Austerity, increase of tax, cut of our welfare, cut of our health assistance, cut for the allowance for our family, cuts on the allowance and the financial aid for the private industry, for the entrepreneurship, tax on our education, and cut on our education as well. So this is the effect on our life. The cost of living is picking high. We are not able to afford. There's no chance for the government to help to improve our condition. And they continue to say there's no money. There's no money for NHS. There's no money for schools. There's no money for family. There's no money for pensions. But they give trillions to war. So something is wrong. Eisenhower told, he warned us, the military industry cannot be so relevant and ruling the country. So we have to take back our policy, our politics, not on the end of the military industry man. We see what is the effect in our ordinary life. We cannot afford any kind of war. That is the point. So from this point on, we should really influence our representatives in order to stand up and say, stop the war. We need this money for our welfare, for our health, for our life. We need back this money. We don't want to give our money. And it's not possible to continue to say yes and accept any kind of decision about it. It's not ideology. It's not that. It's to be rational. It's to be rational. And how does the poet say, how you can, well, if you're a doctor, you have to be safe and sane. Okay, you have to be healthy in order to cure any other. If you are not healthy, you are not able to assist anyone. So we cannot afford a war when we are depriving our nation, our citizen, for their basic needs. And they're right. And this is not correct. It's really unfair to continue to spread fear and threatness on citizens about a World War III in order to justify any stupid and idiotic policy to justify more money for war. And we see, because the economy is deprived by their substantial aid in order to develop. And we see our street, how they are. And we see every day how it's hard to carry on and how it's hard for anyone. There's no more distinction between. There is a sort of, I don't want to be a conspiracy theory because I don't like, but honestly, it's normal that we have a lot of people that are quite desperate and they have no chance to see a wonderful future on a daily basis. They started to struggle for the basic needs. Of course, there is a frustration. Of course, there is a conflict. And of course, it's really like to live in a sort of opportunity to start the fight of the conflict and so justify my much more rules about how to control and, of course, monitoring and put under a sort of martial law, because it's not to say they are martial law, but nevertheless, they started to fight any kind of free speech. And in the same context, they started to say there is much more hate speech. There is much more conflict on the street, right? Correct. Why? People are desperate. That's why. People have much more needs and nothing back from our governments. So nevertheless, if they are immigrants or they are not immigrants, if they are black, blue, yellow, purple, I don't know, that is not an excuse to stay and exercise much more control and power and threat. Because any countries now in the world are in a breach or became authoritarian governments. And that means that there is a collapse of democracy everywhere, collapse of something that we believe that nobody can take off from us, but it's true. Give much more authority to control, to issue new law that are erosion, but that means that any kind of laws that they start to issue means for us actually, but we lose some rights. So we are backing in time, not go forward. And that's is what is going on in the States, in Europe, and most of the country, like Australia and all. So be careful. We should behave better. We should understand that if we give the opportunity to see that we are going to fight each other, the government has a right to say, well, the citizens are not able to auto-regulate and they are not able to behave in a respectful way, respecting each other. So the government started to say, we have a right, because there is a need, to put in place new laws in order to, what? To take off your rights. Because you start to lose it. Because, of course, because you are not respect the basic of the respect in the laws. That means I fight for you for nothing, because tomorrow the government say, okay, you are not able to understand, you are not able to handle it. So we need to use the force. We have to enforce police. We have to enforce military control. We have to enforce new measure to check what you say, check what you write, check how you behave. So the West country, the democratic country that always complain about the China measure and the violation of the human rights, they start to do the same. They start doing the same. Which is the difference. Difference is on us. We can make the difference. We should stop to fight each other. We should have to focus on what are our needs, and we have to try to influence our representative in order to think about us, not something else. This is what is my point of view. Is what I understood from this week, where we see leaders that try to avoid the main struggling, hard point to discussion, to how to improve consistently, concretely, effectively our life. It's not just the United States that is important for the rest of the world, of course, but it's also for the European countries. It's all relating how we want to handle and to understand that we cannot afford one more day of war in Ukraine, one more day in Israel genocide. We have to respect the international law. We want to believe in the law. We want to get credit that there is a justice. Well, this is the time, and we should. And I hope to give you much more information next week. I hope that there is a new opportunity to see much more geopolitics news that is relating to our economy, maybe give much more hope for everyone. And really, I'm waiting for good news, not just only bad. But it's a good news, understanding that is a help, maybe, if we can work all together just for our best future. Thanks a lot for having me, and see you soon. Thank you.